When you let go of who you are, you become who you might be, said Rumi. What if the life you are clinging to is the very thing preventing you from becoming who you were meant to be? Letting go rarely feels graceful. It feels more like free-falling. It feels like standing at the edge of a cliff with your hands clenched around your habits that once protected you. Overeating, overworking, overgiving, over-tolerating, and realizing those same habits are now your cage. Even senior citizens can change. At 55 years old, Alina, not her real name, was a homemaker for 33 years. A mother of 4 grown children, she had married young. She had built a life around service, meals cooked, laundry folded, holidays hosted. Her identity wrapped tightly around being needed. But behind the carefully set table was a quiet ache. Her husband grew distant over the years. He scrolls to his phone at dinner. He criticizes her weight. His words slice like a dagger. Sometimes he disappears emotionally for days. There have been whispers, suspicions of cheating, the smell of perfume that wasn't hers, late nights at work. Elena never confronted it fully. Instead, she coped with brownies eaten standing at the kitchen counter, with worry that churned at 3 a.m. in the morning, with silence. But here's the shocking truth. What if the habit you think is protecting your marriage is actually protecting your fear, and you are more complicit in keeping yourself small than you realize? That lands hard, but it's liberating, because if you're complicit, you are also powerful. You can make change happen. The night everything cracked, the house smelled like sugar and butter. The oven hummed. The kitchen light cast a yellow glow over the granite counter. Elena stood barefoot in her robe, spoon deep in frosting. The sweetness hit her tongue, a quick relief, immediate comfort. Her phone buzzed. A text from her husband. Working late, don't wait up. Her chest tightened. The spoon clattered into the bowl. The frosting no longer tasted sweet. It tasted like humiliation. She leaned against the counter and slid down to the floor, cool tile against her back. The clock ticked loudly. The house was silent in a way that feels enormous. And in that silence, a whisper arose. I can't keep living like this. Why does letting go feel like free fall? Old habits are not random. They're survival strategies. Overeating soothes the nervous system. Overfunctioning avoids confrontation. Staying silent prevents rejection. According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, nearly 40% of adults report using food, alcohol, or work to cope with chronic stress. Even so-called positive addictions, like overworking, trigger dopamine relief similar to substance use. Habits regulate pain. But here's the cost of not letting go. Resentment calcifies. Self-trust erodes. The body carries the stress, weight gain, insomnia, inflammation. Emotional neglect becomes normalized. If you don't face your fear, the habit becomes your identity. Letting go feels like stepping out of a plane without a parachute. What if the parachute is your connection to God or source energy? Tuning into self, source, and nature. The turning point for Elena didn't begin with confrontation. It began with a walk. One morning, after another sleepless night, she went to a nearby park. The air was crisp. The leaves crunched under her sneakers. Sunlight filtered through the trees. She noticed something she hadn't in years. Trees let go every fall, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary for renewal. Nature does not cling to dead leaves, so why do we? Elena began sitting on the bench daily. No phone, just breath, just bird song, just wind. At first, her thoughts were loud. What if he leaves? What if I'm alone? What if I'm not enough? But beneath those fears was something steady, her higher self, the calm observer, the sky beneath the weather. She remembered Oprah Winfrey saying, "Turn your wounds into wisdom." Elena began journaling instead of eating, walking instead of spiraling, praying instead of panicking. She tuned into source, that deeper intelligence within her that did not beg, did not shrink, did not chase. The free fall moment happened one evening when her husband criticized her appearance. Something different happened. She didn't retreat to the kitchen. She didn't apologize. She said quietly, "I do not accept being spoken to that way." Her voice shook. Her hands trembled. She felt like jumping, but something miraculous happened in that fall. She didn't shatter. She felt strong. As Maya Angelou reminds us, you may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. Letting go was not about controlling her husband. It was about reclaiming herself. Here are 5 common mistakes that women make when letting go of old habits. Stay with me here. This is where transformation solidifies. Number 1, waiting for certainty before acting. Courage comes first. Clarity follows. Number 2, confusing self-care with selfishness. Self-care is spiritual hygiene. Step 3, replacing one numbing habit with another. Trading sugar for wine is not freedom. 4, expecting immediate validation. Others may resist your growth. And 5, forgetting to anchor into source. Without spiritual grounding, change feels terrifying. What about you? Where are you soothing pain instead of addressing it? What habit feels safer than truth to you? What would happen if you trusted yourself enough to leap? Free fall is not the absence of control. It's surrender to a deeper trust. Elena did not fix her marriage overnight, but she changed the ecosystem of her life. She joined a women's circle. She began therapy. She lost weight naturally as emotional eating decreased. Her laughter returned. Most importantly, she stopped abandoning herself, and that changed everything. Here's your invitation. You felt the weight of trauma and stress and sought a deeper connection with yourself, right? You're not alone. Radiate Joy, the stress resilience blueprint, ignite your inner light, overcome trauma, and thrive is your guide to uncovering the radiance within. Inside, you'll learn how to release survival habits, connect with your higher self, and cultivate boundaries rooted in love, not fear. If Elena's story stirred something in you, that's not a coincidence. It's your life calling you home. Uncover the radiance within you. Visit marciadiane.com and take the first step toward freedom by purchasing and downloading my PDF book called Radiating Joy, the Stress Resilience Blueprint. Because you were never meant to cling to what hurts. You were meant to rise. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and share.